Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to STEMwithKieno.com. I am Kieno Thomas, and today we're going to do just a quick little trip to John F. Kennedy International Airport. We're going to be headed to Robbinsville VOR and then John F. Kennedy International's VOR 115.9. Robbinsville VOR will be 113.8. We have that set up in radios there, and we have distance measuring equipment already registering. At this point, we are in the Piper Navajo. I love this simulator because it is almost 100% representative of what you would actually find in the actual aircraft, and I definitely recommend this simulator. I have one of my subscribers, he asked me to check out the simulator and give some feedback as far as what I thought as far as realism, and this is probably as real as it gets. So let's get our GPS set up. The GPS is a little bit, we're going to go ahead and just put JFK's VOR in at this point, and what we have here is the communications volumes knob that will bring our highlighter from the communication panel to the navigation panel, and I'm going to just put in 115.9, and this is a little hairy, so you got to kind of finesse this a little bit, but it shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to put 115.9 in. We got 115.9 in there, flip that, and then 110.9. Could have went the other way, but no worries. Actually 110.9, sorry about that, folks. Happy. Alright, so we have the ILS frequency there. We're going to be coming in on runway 4 left, and the final approach course is going to be 045 degrees, and that's basically about it at this point. For our pre-takeoff briefing, if we have a engine failure or engine abnormality prior to rotation, we're going to pull the throttle all the way back. We're going to brake heavily. If we have a engine failure, engine abnormality, and the climb out after we rotate and break ground, if we have enough runway, we're going to land on the runway, brake heavily. If we have an engine abnormality or engine failure after we take off, there's no more runway, then we're going to climb out on a single engine, and that will be mixtures, props, throttle, flaps up, gear up, and we're going to climb out at about 83 knots. So nothing too special. The pre-takeoff briefing is complete, and we just want to get ourselves set up so that we got a good eye on our instruments, and we're going to advance the throttle a little bit, and we can look around a little bit. Glance back at our passengers, make sure their seatbelts, shoulder harnesses are secure, and that they're good to go. And once we're clear for takeoff, we're going to advance the throttle. Let the aircraft roll forward. Check our engine instruments, airspeed alive, a little bit too much there. Instrument cross check is good. Full throttle. Rotation. Positive rate. gears up, and we're going to come to a heading of about 100. We'll start our turn. Bring our power back to 36, and we're going to climb out at 2400 for our prop setting. Pitch down a little bit. I'm a little bit slower than I would like to be. And we are making our adjustments. Climb out to about 4,000 feet, and we'll go ahead and make our slight adjustment there. Oh, we can't get this pitch attitude rectified. It's going to bump into power a little bit. So we're flying directly to Robbinsville VOR, not the airport. The airport and the VOR are geographically two different positions. And okay, speed's good, speed checks, and we're going to level out at 4,000, and we'll go to our cruise power setting. Bit of a slow response there, no worries though. Okay, and we're off. We have a cloud deck that runs from about 1,000 to 3,000 feet. I believe that's where I set it at. Alright, let's come on down our cruise power setting, which is going to be 3222. Got 32 set there. And that's just how it would sound in the actual real Piper Navajo, which I think is really, really cool about the simulator. As far as modeling goes, Carenado is the manufacturer. Let's not forget to give them credit for a beautiful job that they did with this simulator. And excuse me 1 sec, I'm just making a few adjustments here. And we'll make sure that our cowl flaps are closed, and we'll pull the mixture back just a little bit for a nice fuel efficiency. And so we're level at 4,000. Point it towards Robbinsville VOR. And looks really, really good. We're doing about 177 over the ground right now. We picked up the VOR to John F. Kennedy International Airport. We won't check the ATIS because we set the weather in the simulator. So the cloud deck, we have clear visibility. greater than 10 miles visibility, and the cloud deck is the only thing that we have to deal with. It's a broken cloud layer from 1,000 to 4,000 feet. So we are going to be shooting the ILS, our Instrument Landing System Approach, runway 4 left into John F. Kennedy International Airport. Okay, fuel flow checks, that's good. Just take a glance at our engine instruments. We could do it from the right cockpit, but I'll just zoom in from here. And a little bit too much there. Let's come out. Okay, we have good fuel pressure. We have our left and our right engine instruments. Cylinder head temperatures are in the green. Oil pressure's in the green arc. And the oil pressure's in the green arc. So we have a happy airplane. Okay, we turned a little bit too much. And we are corrected. To get that back, sometimes if you don't zoom in far enough on those numbers, we can get an erroneous reading. But all in all, we're looking pretty good here. Other than the clouds, pretty nice scenery going on. See the boot on the leading edge wing. You see the fuel cap there. The baggage compartment. One of the baggage compartments for the pilots. There's also a baggage compartment in the nose that can be opened up. And 090 on the heading. Making a correction. And looks like we've passed our VOR. I will go to the main panel just to confirm that. And let's see here, main panel. Yep, we have passed Robinson VOR. It's coming back, and so we'll assume a heading of about 130 or so. 130 or so should do it. And then you know what? Never mind that. Let's go ahead and just start pointing towards JFK. I want to come in, and I'll do this from the main virtual cockpit view, so we get a tighter eye on that. And we want to come in, and that's actually, it's already pretty much set there at 045. So we're going to maintain this heading until the CDI needle, which is called the course deviation indicator, when it settles in and comes in on our little miniature aircraft there, then that tells me that that is the actual radial that I want to be coming in on, which would be the radial would be 225. Yeah, 225. 24 is there. 230 is there. So we're creeping. We're leaning a little bit towards 225. We have our DME there. We're currently 39.1 miles away from John F. Kennedy International Airport. So all in all, man, this is really a good bird. To the subscriber that asked me to do like a small review on this, man. I mean, like back in the day, in the Piper Navajo, I was actually flying passengers. I was flying for a company that had a contract with the organ donor program. And medical teams, we used to call them body parts, but you know, your heart, liver. Yeah, hearts and livers is mostly what we did for the organ donor program. They actually have, or back in the day they had, I met a pilot, he flew the Navajo, and I think he was flying for LabCorp or something like that. And basically, he was flying blood and urine samples from place to place. And so this is a great airplane. If you're going to be flying for an organization that operates Navajo, this is actually a great simulator by Carenado. Carenado, Carenado. Awesome simulator here. And we didn't do the engine start, but you could actually do the engine start procedure, and you can work with that. So if you've never flown the Piper Navajo before, you could actually go run through your checklists and all that and everything, and that is priceless. When you actually have a platform that you can use, you can operate the knobs, you can navigate with this thing using real world maps and things of that nature. And you know, that's why, you know, when I kind of, this thing is bringing back ghosts for me. Looks like our CDI needle may be bouncing just a little bit. And the cool thing is, for our housekeeping, we already have the instrument landing system frequency set. So it's just a flip of a switch is all we need to do to prepare for that. 34 miles out now. And we'll wait for this to center up, and we'll start pointing towards JFK. I don't know if you can see it, but the Atlantic Ocean is out there. And this is the New Jersey coast out here where my cursor is kind of pointing to. And the CDI needle is coming in, so we're going to gently just turn in just a little bit. And when this centers up, we will point directly at the head of this arrow. We'll turn the aircraft until this miniature aircraft is pointing at the head of that arrow, and that will indicate to us that we're pointing directly to the airport. Awesome simulator. I love this thing. So it's a great purchase. If you're going to be working with an organization that operates Piper Navajo, I definitely recommend that you get this Carenado package. This is probably the most realistic one that I've ever seen. Now it's not exactly center, so we will set the heading bug just a little bit slightly to the right of this until it centers up. Great simulator here. We're about 11 miles out from the field. And we may have a little bit of a crosswind there because we're slightly pointed to the right, and we're using that heading to pretty much keep ourselves maintained. We'll just float this thing up right about there. And we are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. So shift 1 on the keyboard brings our autopilot panel. Shift 2 brings up our GPS. Our GPS is fully functional. We could actually operate the buttons and hit direct to if we wanted to go there. Procedure, we could set up an instrument landing procedure here if we wanted to. So that's pretty decent. Okay, we're pretty much fully centered up here. Level at 4,000. And when we get about 10 miles out, we're We're 23 miles out now. When we get about 10 miles out, we'll go ahead and flip over to the navigation system. We can also use our annunciator panels to listen to the Morse code. Zoom in there, and we can hit nav 1, and when we hit nav 1 it will light up just like it would in a real airplane, and listen to the Morse code. And I'll let that radio chatter go by. Basically, that Morse code that you heard, you can look at your actual approach plate, your real-world approach plate, and you can basically see that the Morse code is good, which means that that navigation facility is fully operational. If it gave you the Morse code letters test, then that means that that navigation facility was under test, and it will be unusable. So we would probably get some erroneous readings. And but if you've done your proper flight planning in real life, you would have probably called and just get any notices to airmen, and we would know that that facility was under test and it would be unusable. So that is not the case here. 171 over the ground right now. Let me just zoom in a little bit. 18 miles out now. 18 miles out now. We have the course deviation needle centered up right in front of our miniature aircraft and the 2 indicators. So we're flying 2 JFK VOR at this point. So all in all, everything is good and uneventful here, which is always good in aviation. .9. We can do a little flyby view. You can see the pilots in there. That's pretty decent for modeling. And that looks like the New York City skyline and the Verrazano Bridge. Back to our cockpit. Let's go back to work. Now, what you can see here is the extended centerline, or the localizer fan. I call it a fan because that's what it looks like. And we can pull up the GPS. Message here. Okay, inside airspace. So it kind of warned us here. Airspace ahead, which is a class Bravo, then airspace near and ahead, and then it tells us when we're inside airspace. Press message to continue. Close that out. But I can see the fan here, and we're 12.7. So I'll go ahead and flip the ILS frequency. Now I'm going to maintain this heading, or just turn slightly to the right here. And we'll maintain this current heading. We can see that we're flying in the right direction towards JFK International. I will just go ahead and we'll step on down to about 3,000. Okay, pre-landing checklist: seats, seatbelt, shoulder harnesses, adjusted and locked, fuel pumps on. Fuel selectors Set the inboard. Got a slight, nice little descent going on, 9.1. And let's get on over. Props at 2400. Mouse is not playing nice today, but we got it. Extra switch. And we're slightly going to just come back on the power to about 30 inches manifold pressure, a little bit under there. Now what I'm going to do is just give us a little turn and we would tell the air traffic controller, look, we want to just do a turn to a reverse course about 225 for spacing. Slowly reducing our power. We do not shock cool our engine in the Piper Navajo because the cylinders get very, very hot, and they get very, very hot. We want to prolong our engine life, or engines, the life of the engine, so we do very small power reductions, because when we shock cool our cylinders, something happens. We can crack our cylinders, and that is not cool. So if we want to prolong the engine life, then we're going to do very small, gradual power reductions. Get down to about 2,000. We want to get that glide slope above us. We prefer it to be above us, and it is slowly but surely creeping up. So, you know, as a pilot in command, you know, 4,000 probably would have been a little bit too high, but we wanted to get ourselves above the clouds, and for demonstration purposes of how effective the ILS is, I elected to just kind of do a course reversal, get that glide slope above us, slowly do a power reduction, nice and easy, bring that manifold pressure back, and we'll keep it right here. So we'll just simulate that the air traffic controller told us to descend and maintain 1800, at or above 1800, and we are at or above 1800. We're in between currently 1,800 and 1,900, so that would give us at or above. And we're going to go ahead and just bring her back around, pointing back towards the airport. Okay. Okay, speed checks for gear extending. Okay, and our procedure for gear is we pull down on the gear, right? We lower it. We keep our hand on it until we get 3 green. 1, 2, 3 green. Right, we got some drag going on. That looks good. on the approach here. We'll keep it here at this altitude. And we will use our heading bug to remind us what the final approach course is. So at this point, we are just making sure that we are establishing ourselves on the extended center line of the runway. The glide slope will come down to meet us, and at that point we will start descending through the clouds. And we're really not looking outside at this point. We're pretty much navigating IFR by instrument flight rules, and this represents the extended center line of the runway. This represents our runway. Hope you guys can hear me pretty good above the radio chatter. 7.6 now. Speed checks for flaps, extending 1 notch. Okay, just getting an eye on the flap indicator here. We have extended our flaps. And let's wiggle this point of view. We're just wiggling it just to make an adjustment. Here. Glide slope is coming down to meet us. Okay, and we are on the descent now. So we're pretty much on the extended center line of the runway. We have the glide slope. We're 6.2 away, 6.2 miles away, and that's nautical miles away. So we really don't see anything through the clouds, and this is why we need to use our instruments for reference, or what we call attitude. So we make sure our attitude, we make sure we have a good attitude for the flight condition that we're in. A little bit hotter than I'd like to be, and it is going to get a little bit soupy, which you can look outside and you can see we're cutting through the clouds here. I can see the runway there, so we are good to go there. Okay, and we are coming to the bottom of the layer of the clouds. Probably won't get, we've got a pretty much clear view to the runway. Fly that airplane. Airspeed's high, get that power reduction in there. Don't let the plane fly you. You fly the plane. Alright. And the airspeed is slowly but surely bleeding off. Okay, gas, undercarriage mixtures, and props. Alright, 24, mixture rich. Fuel pumps are on. Gear down, 3 green. Sometimes the tower will tell you you're cleared to land runway 4 left, check wheels down. And we have checked wheels down. Very nice approach. Nice and easy. We do instrument approaches very, it's not rushed, it's not hurried, and that is the reason why. Bumping in a little power just to stay stabilized. Okay, we're gear down, stabilized. With the runway in sight, you can see the terminal over there to the left. And we actually have an aircraft. I bumped up the air traffic, but it looks like that aircraft is staying still and waiting for us to land. You can see it right there. It's a pretty heavy, it's a heavy jet. And looks like, for our purposes, that aircraft is actually taxiing on or in the position and hold. Above and touchdown. Okay, now our main objective at this point not messing with the flaps. Rudder's a little bit on the squirrely side, so I'm being very gentle. And we'll go ahead and we'll exit this taxiway. Like I said, the rudder's a little bit squirrely. Get this bird off and clear the whole short line. After this, we'll come to a full stop. Let's see if we can't see that aircraft take off. Take a look. Okay, at this point, lights, icing, flaps, transponders, the memory aid. Strobe lights off. I'm trying to see if we can see this airplane. Oh, I don't believe it's taken off yet. Okay, I don't see him. I do see an airplane out there. 3.7 miles, so okay, I guess he's taken off already. So alright, we'll go ahead and we'll retract our flaps. Transponder to standby. I wanted to get that takeoff for the video. Looking around, got a jet taxi in front of us, MD-83. We can actually hear our engines. That's pretty cool. So like I said, this is a pretty good simulator. The base simulation program is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Sounds like a departing aircraft. So maybe we did miss it. Or those engines are just that loud. Okay, so yeah, that's really about it. I wanted to do that quick little flight here. That was Trenton-Mercer Airport to John F. Kennedy International Airport. And again, this is Kieno with STEMwithKieno.com. If you are preparing for a military aptitude test, you can catch us every Friday night on YouTube. You can go to our website, click the YouTube icon on the landing page and look for us. And any FAA test prep is also available as well, and any math and science questions as well. So I'd like to thank you guys for taking time out to hit the play button. And please like, subscribe, and share this video on your social media networks. This is Kieno Thomas with STEMwithKieno.com. Have a great morning. Bye-bye.